So, Six Sigma belts. You've seen them, right? They're all over LinkedIn profiles. You hear the terms thrown around in meetings, green belt, black belt. But what are they really? Are they just some fancy corporate titles, or maybe just for holding your pants up? Or do they signal a very specific kind of corporate warrior? Well, today we're going to find out.
I mean, let's be real for a second. Is this whole thing just a way to make process improvements sound as cool as martial arts? Are we just borrowing the lingo to make ourselves feel a little more important in the office? You know, that's what a lot of people secretly think.
And here is the punchline. No, a Six Sigma black belt won't help you fight off a gang of ninjas in a dark alley. But they are absolutely trained for a different kind of combat. We're talking about crushing those PowerPoint warriors in a business review, dismantling flawed arguments and inefficient processes right there in the boardroom. It's about winning a totally different kind of battle.
This whole belt system isn't just some random idea. It's a metaphor, and it's borrowed directly from martial arts for a very good reason. Just think about it for a sec. The qualities of a martial arts black belts, highly trained, disciplined, experienced. It's a system that represents a really clear path from novice to master. It's a structure for building expertise. And that's exactly what companies are trying to do with their problem solvers.
All right, so let's start with the first level we're really digging into today, the green belts. And I love to think of these folks as the corporate commandos, right on the front lines of making things better.
So why commandos? Well, because they're not some separate army that gets called in. They are elite problem solvers who are embedded right inside their existing teams. Yeah, they get some special training, but they bring those skills right back to their regular unit, to the front lines of the business.
Okay, now this is an absolutely crucial detail. A green belt is not a full-time process guru, okay? They spend maybe 20% of their time, like 1 day a week, on these projects. And that's so important because it means they're still deeply, deeply connected to the day-to-day reality of the processes they're trying to fix. They feel the pain.
So what does a green belt actually do? Well, you can think of them as the worker bees of the whole improvement system. They stay in their normal job, but they use their new data skills to finally tackle those super annoying, persistent problems. The bugs that have been slowing their team down for months, maybe even years. They're the ones on the ground, collecting the data, running the first wave of analysis, and a lot of the time, they're getting guidance from a more experienced black belt. So, if green belts are the commandos, who's leading the bigger missions? Well, that brings us to the next level up in the hierarchy, the black belts. These are the dedicated project leaders.
And if a green belt handles those localized issues, a black belt, they're the dedicated bomb squad. They get brought in full-time to diffuse the big, nasty, complex problems, the ones that stretch across multiple departments. The kind of issues that could seriously damage the company if they're just left to fester.
And this right here is the perfect way to think about the difference in scale. A green belt is like a plumber fixing a specific contained leak. It's a critical job, for sure. But a black belt steps way back and looks at the entire building's water system to figure out how to prevent leaks from ever happening in the first place. It is a fundamental difference in scope and complexity.
And the official definition backs this up completely. The key phrase here is full-time. Unlike the green belt, this is their main job. They are basically internal consultants, and their whole purpose is to lead the most critical and complex improvement projects the company has going. Yeah, their mission is way broader than a green belt's. They're leading these huge projects that cut across different departments, but a massive part of their role is also to educate and mentor others, especially the green belts. They're the go-to expert for heavy-duty statistical analysis, and they're the ones who report progress up the chain to senior leadership, who are often called champions. And speaking of champions, who's supporting the black belts? I mean, they can't do it all alone. That brings us to the very top of the pyramid, the people who provide the mentorship and the money. So right at the top, you've got two really key roles that hold the whole system together. First, there's the champion or the sponsor. Think of them as the big boss. They're the senior leader who controls the budget, gets you the resources you need, and clears those big organizational roadblocks. Then you have the master black belt. This person is the ultimate mentor, the technical guru who trains all the other belts and consults on the absolute toughest problems. The Master Black Belt really is the highest level of certification you can get. We're talking about someone with years and years of experience who is responsible for the overall strategy of how Six Sigma gets deployed in a company. They're the architects who make sure the whole system works together, from training brand new green belts all the way up to advising executives. Okay, so we've got this whole elaborate hierarchy, right? Green belts, black belts, masters. But why? I mean, really, what is the point of all this structure?
And here is the crucial points. It is not about looking cool, it's not about titles or jargon. It is a highly effective division of labor. It means you have people at every single level who are empowered to solve problems at the right scale. And the ultimate goal of solving all those problems? It's simple. Improve quality and save the company a truly staggering amount of money.
Now, just take a look at this. This table uses Amazon's Cyber Monday sales to show the mind-blowing cost of errors. Look at the top line. At the lowest quality level, 1 sigma, you're looking at over 25 million defects costing the company almost $900 million. But as you climb the sigma levels, just watch how those costs plummet. By the time you get all the way down to 6 sigma, which is near perfection, you're down to just 125 errors and a cost of less than $5,000. The difference is absolutely astronomical. Let's just put that number up on the screen by itself for a second. Nearly $889 million. That's the potential cost of having poor quality for a single day of business. This is the dragon that the entire Six Sigma belt system was designed to slay. And that, right there, brings it all together. The belt system isn't just a cool hierarchy. It's a company's entire strategy for preventing that massive number from ever happening. The green belts tackle the small projects that save thousands. The black belts lead the huge, complex initiatives that save millions. Each belt color represents the skill to solve problems of a certain scale, all of them working together to push the company toward that ultimate Six Sigma goal. So, now you know what the belts are for. But once you've got the belt, you have to choose your weapon. In the world of process improvement, you've got 2 major philosophies, Lean and Six Sigma. So in this powerful partnership, who's actually the boss? We're going to break that down in our next explainer. See you then.